Good evening and salutations, my G fans. I'm gonna be honest, not really a lot happened. Um, this whole Michael, Willow, Chase, Sasha thing, this whole musical chairs, I don't know what they're doing at this point, and I feel like sometimes I feel like when I'm watching it, I don't even feel like they know what they're doing. Um, Michael and Willow talk, and they pretty much come up with, they're just like, you know what, listen, we need to just kind of take a beat and make sure that, you know, Sasha and Chase are behind us before we can do anything as far as moving forward. Which made sense. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think out of all this back and forth musical chairs nonsense, this is the one thing that's actually been making some sense. Because they're starting to get closer, but then you got, you know, now the truth is out, and, they didn't really do anything, so that really kind of changes things. So, I don't remember who said who. I think it was Willow. But, she was just like, we owe it to ourselves to kind of figure out, if we still want to be together or if we want to go back to Sasha and Chase, because, nothing really did happen. And the thing is, nothing happened on their end, but on Mike and Willow's end, well, we already know what happened. And on the other side of town, this is after Chase got done interrogating Britt to find out what was in Sasha's system. When he got done with that, he came to Sasha's room. Now, Nina was in there for a little bit, just offering her a shoulder, just being like, "Hey, listen, I got you if you want to talk. Get your ish together, and you got your whole life ahead of you, yada yada. The whole hopes and dreams speech." And then once Chase came in, she left. And when Chase got in, first he was, Sasha was just like, "Are you coming here as a cop or as a friend?" And after, Chase was like, "You got some stuff in you that is new, and I want to know where you got it from." Sasha didn't really give him the answer, and it kind of goes left a little bit as far as, her reasoning why she's doing it, and, Chase blames himself. And, why didn't I not see it? And I'm kind of just like, I don't really like kicking someone when they're down, but bro, you're a detective. You deal with that stuff on a daily basis, and somehow you can tell when she was a little abnormal. Like, you really couldn't tell. Like, really? I don't really get that. So anyway, they get to a point where they're talking about Michael and Sasha. Michael and Willow. And, Chase pretty much is like, "Yo, listen, I told the truth." And Sasha gets upset. And I'm like, why are you, like, so upset? Like, why? And she's all like, "Oh, well, it would hurt Willow more." I was like, no. That I'm sorry, sweetheart. We can't keep using that as an excuse. That's done. But then she's all like, "Oh, well, Michael's here. That's a good thing, right? That means that, we may have a chance to get back together." Like, all, like, really giddy. And I'm like, okay, alright, whatever. So, Chase is like, "Well, here's the thing. Just, I want to just kind of lower your expectations." And he pretty much tells her the truth, like, "Yo, listen, they're married for real. In the biblical way." And at that point, it goes a little left. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got a little bit bored. So I don't remember what the rest of the conversation was about. But, apparently, Willow texted Chase, and Michael came to the hospital to see Sasha. You know, earlier, Michael was fuming a little bit. He was so upset with Sasha for the way that, you know, she lied to him, and it hurt his feelings, and, you know, even though it wasn't real, the pain was still real. But he also doesn't want to unload on her because, you know, she just is in the hospital. I'm not gonna lie, this whole story is somewhat messy, and it's really messy because, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't know if this was supposed to be the end game. I don't know if Nell was supposed to actually die. I think Nell, and this is just my theory, that Nell was still supposed to be alive, and, you know, they were supposed to be being husband and wife for real. But I felt like plans got derailed when either they killed off Nell because they didn't want her on there, or she didn't want to be on there. I just felt like this whole story was messy, and the fact that Nell left was like, I feel like this whole thing wasn't supposed to go as long as it was supposed to go. But, yeah. So, let's talk about Carly, Jason, and Sonny. So you pretty much have their little powwow meeting, and Sonny tells Carly everything about Julian, and the explosion, and Cyrus, and the whole Wiley thing, everything. And, you know, this is when Carly tells Jason and Sonny that Nell could possibly be Nina's daughter. So, only thing that really happened was towards the end, you know, when Sonny finds out that Jax knows, Sonny's like, you know, listen, he's been really cool with Dev. Let's just hope that he tells, you know, he keeps it together because, you know, they're getting closer, and that's a lot for Jax to handle. Now, when Jax winds up seeing Nina, they talk a little bit, and, you know, this is after, you know, Nina comes from the hospital and talks about Sasha, talks about her daughter, you know, her long-lost daughter that's just out there in the world somewhere. And, you know, Jax is just like, you know, maybe you should just, you know, kind of just stop the search. Because Nina said something along the lines of, you know, even though I may never see her, I want to sit there and hope that she, you know, that she lived a great life. And I'm not going to lie, part of me wants to sit there and be like, you know, hopefully she lived a great life. And I was like, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, at this point, because Jax asked the question, Jax was like, you know, seeing how you forgave Sasha a little bit, you think, you know, have you forgiven Valentine? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, Jax, here's the thing, you know, about Valentine lying and stuff like that. I mean, granted, what Valentine did, it sucked, okay? It did. It sucked. But he only did it to protect Nina and to protect her feelings, you know? He did it as a way to give her some hope and whatever, you know? This wasn't a lie out of malice. And granted, while Jax lying to her is not a malice, I'm like, bro, you really, at this point, you really shouldn't bring up what Valentine did. And you know that, and you're still lying to her face. Like, are you kidding me? Listen, I like Jax, okay? But if you're going to sit there and talk about, well, so did you forgive Valentine for his lie? You really, you really want to sit there and start comparing notes? Mr. So-called White Knight? Like, are you... okay. So, yeah, he tries to convince her to, you know, give up the search. And that's when Nina's just like, what? Like, she has that look on her face, that puzzled look on her face, like, I'm sorry, what? I mean, listen, what she did today as far as, checking up on Sasha and everything like that, I thought that was cool, that was nice. Um, and, she gets points for that, because she didn't have to do that. She's still, I'm not going to lie, and I mean, she probably is still a little bit hurt from Sasha pretending to be her daughter, and that's her pill to swallow, but she is the type of person that does rise above that, and, you know, is still going to be there for her. And granted, this is coming from a person, and let's be very clear about this, that doesn't really like Nina. I don't hate the woman, but I felt like ever since, and I know I've said this before, but ever since that whole, Willow Tate thing, it's never been the same for me as far as she goes. And also, let's be honest, Michelle Stanford really did a great job. And while Nina, this actress, is making it her own, I'm just like, yeah. So I'm always going to have that conflict with her a little bit. But, I mean, she does a serviceable job, so whatever. Now, Britt talked to New Lucas, and pretty much was sticking up for him as far as Brad, and, was really getting at him because, Lucas, she felt like Lucas didn't really care, that Brad nearly died, and, it's just really being hard on him. Even after, even though that Brad did lie, he didn't do it out of malicious. He didn't do it out of malice, So she's pretty much sticking up for him, and, Lucas is being very defensive, and then Brad, and then, Britt mentioned that, hey, listen, just to let you know, he wasn't keeping that secret alone. Now, she didn't say who it was, but, that's for Lucas to decide, to, figure out. Now, and I will have to bring this up again a little bit, because let's be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to be a fan of Brad. And I know that everyone has lied and done really bad things, but I guess with everyone, some people can forgive the lies, or some people can forgive the bad things that they've done, and other things, not so much. Brad trying to blackmail Michael into having sex with him, it's just one of those things that's just never going to sit right with me, Blackmailing anyone into having sex with someone is just a very sleazeball, wrong, and terrible thing to do. And so I'm just not going to really get over that. And just on a side note, does Lucas actually know about that? Does Lucas know that Brad tried to blackmail his cousin into having sex with him? And he still married him? Like, are you... Okay. With that being said, yeah, I don't know. I think now at this point Lucas got some thinking to do, and maybe some of that stuff resonated with Lucas as far as what Britt said. Because in all honesty, yeah, what he did to Michael, it sucks. It was terrible. He didn't do it out of malice. And when he got caught and went to jail, he didn't give up Lucas. He didn't give up Julian because, he felt like Julian, like, listen, you're going to already lose Brad. You're already going to lose me. Let's not lose your father, too. So, he did try to do something right in his own way. I'm never going to like him 100%, but what he did, he did for Lucas. And I know that Lucas is upset, but I mean, there has to have been some love there for you to even sit there and marry this guy at one point in time. I feel like he's so angry that he can't sit there and see that. And with that being said, let's talk about Ava and Nicholas. So, in the beginning, Ava is kind of telling him bits of truth. At first she's like, oh, well, he's dead, and I killed him. But he doesn't, at first she doesn't sit there and tell him the whole story about how he bombed the floating rib, and he was responsible for pretty much people's deaths and Lulu. But throughout the episode, she does confess. She does sit there and tell Nicholas everything. And Nicholas, Nicholas still loves her and still is gonna ride with her. So, and that's pretty much all that was. I'm not gonna lie. When I was sitting there watching it, and Ava was sitting there telling bits and bits of truth, and she was all like, "Oh well, I loved him. I had to sit there and do it. This, that, and the third." I was like, "So it's day 2, and we're not gonna sit there and tell Nicholas." Julian's whole involvement of everything that he did, not just the whole Wiley thing. And yeah, today, she did talk about Ryan Chamberlain and why she was really, going to the jail to see him and everything like that, and really protecting him. But she did come clean, and I thought that was really cool. So now they're like, everything is out in the open, and there's no secrets. And I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, so you're just gonna tell him part of the truth, and y'all gonna just be all blissful until the whole truth comes out, and that he's gonna be upset that you lied? Like, come on. So it's good. They got everything out the way, out in the open, and I guess we're just gonna wait and see what happens with that. I don't think that Spencer's gonna be too happy, but that's that's for another day to sit there and solve or whatever. Listen, I've never been a big fan of Spencer, ever. So I personally don't really care. But I know that he does love his son, and I guess that's just going to work itself out in time. Now, the last thing I want to sit there and talk about is Jocelyn and Trina. So Trina comes over to the house, and then Jax leaves, and Trina tells Jocelyn that, her dad may be alive. And at first, Jocelyn wants to sit there and tell her parents, but, Trina's like, that's not a good idea. And Jocelyn agrees because, she already knows, like, there's tension between Cyrus and Sonny. She doesn't want to add on to that, so she's like, for now, whatever. And, earlier, one of the reasons why Carly came to talk to Jason and Sonny was because of Taggart, and that, she felt like Taggart was just going to do something stupid, so she pretty much was telling Sonny to rein him in. But, Trina was like, listen, I need your help to sit there and try to figure out if he's alive or not, because, I don't trust Cyrus, and, he's a dirtbag and XYZ. So, Jocelyn agrees to do it, and, yeah. Now, this is all getting great, and, Trina is all like, oh, I'm going to sit there and search my dad, and find him. But, you know what, at the end of the day, you're doing exactly what Cyrus wants you to do, It's like, why should he sit there and try to, expend resources and everything like that, when you could just sit there and just have her do all the hard work? Be like, thank you. Awesome. So, yeah. With that being said, that's actually going to do it. I don't think... Want to make sure. So, yes. With that being said, that's actually going to do it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? All that good stuff. Every time that Jax talks about Valentine, I'm just like, bro, please just stop. Because you're just making yourself look more like a hypocrite every single time you talk about Valentine, when you are constantly sitting there lying to this woman's face. And it's going to come out. It's going to come out, and you're just going to drive her right back into Valentine's arms, which everyone wants anyway, so whatever. With that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next review.